Trees, particularly old trees, are often considered sacred in Japan. Pine trees in particular are thought to ward off bad luck and evil spirits, and you'll often find them on shrine grounds around the country. Their long lifespans also symbolize longevity, so they are just one of many beloved trees throughout Japan. But back in the Showa era, there was a pine tree with a rather different reputation. This tree was known as the man-eating pine, and it terrified people throughout Shibuya Ward. The story of this tree was shared in the Yomiuri newspaper's September 22nd, 1930 edition. Headlined, Showa Kaidan, the terrifying man-eating pine. The article detailed just why people feared this tree so much. Coming in at roughly 6 meters tall, this massive tree could be found in Dogenzaka, a district of Shibuya Ward. Locals had dubbed the pine the man-eating pine because they genuinely feared that even just touching the tree would be enough to curse you. But why? What had been done to this tree that was so bad that merely touching it would curse a person? Well, as it turns out with many of the cursed trees you can find around Japan, it all started when people began falling ill after trying to cut it down. Back in the Taisho era, a family tried to cut the tree down so they could build a house. However, one by one they rapidly fell ill and, in the end, 7 family members died. Other people who had messed with the tree before this family also came down with terrible injuries, and so a legend was born. Touch the tree and meet your fate. It wouldn't be a pretty one. During the early years of the Showa era, however, government officials in Shibuya wanted to get rid of the tree so they could focus on road expansion. The tree was in the way, and so it had to go. Naturally, the locals complained, and complained loudly. They feared that if anyone touched that tree again, they would be cursed like all the other times, so they pleaded with the government not to cut it down. No more lives should be unnecessarily lost to this angry tree. Naturally, the officials ignored the superstitious calls of the locals, and 5 of them planned to cut the tree down the next day. However, that very night, every single one of them fell ill. Some with high fevers, another broke his arm, and another developed a large tumour on his head. These men hadn't even touched the tree, yet their plans to cut it down were apparently enough. Each of them fell victim to the supposed curse as well. So, what do you do when a tree won't let you cut it down? The mayor of Shibuya came up with an interesting idea. He surmised that the problem with the tree was its name and reputation. After all, people called it the man-eating pine, hardly the nicest name around, and feared its very existence. Maybe it wasn't really that the tree was cursed, but rather it was simply upset with its name and how people treated it. So, he came up with an idea. What if they stopped calling it the man-eating pine and instead worshipped it as the success tree instead? Rather than treating it as cursed, they would treat it as divine, a sacred tree. And rather than cut it down entirely, they would simply move it to another area, so construction could continue without the tree's death. Everyone would win. The night before they planned to move the tree, an altar was set up by it, a tin roof erected over the top, and lanterns, sake, and food prepared and dedicated to it. The tree was worshipped as sacred, received a new name, and venerated, not feared. And it worked. The tree was safely moved in December 1930, and nobody ever came to harm thanks to the tree again. The success tree lasted 15 years in its new location, but thanks to the effects of the ongoing war, the tree's new soil wasn't suitable for it, and it soon thereafter dried out and died. The tree was largely forgotten by locals after that, but 30 years later, in 1975, a small shrine was dug up from the tree's former location, reminding everyone once again of that former cursed and later revered pine tree that had once stood and then died there. The shrine was moved to Shibuya Station, roughly a 15-minute walk away, where you can still find it today. The tree may be long gone, but the memories and legends it left behind will live on for quite some time to come. But what do you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.